Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast and welcome to Skaven starting rosters. What we're doing is we're looking at all the teams that have been leaked in the Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook and we are preparing for the next season of leagues everywhere. So what we're not going to do is spend too much time looking at the development of your team, what skills and things like that, but what we will do is we are going to look at exactly what you can fit into a 1 million gold piece roster. Basically, we want to just have a look and see what we can afford in the new season. And Skaven, big fan of Skaven. But first up, let's look at the key changes for the Skaven roster. So gutter runners have gone up 5k. They've also suffered in the passing nerf. So historically, they were passing with agility 4, which meant they were making a 2+ quick pass. That is now not the case. They've been relegated to pass 4+. So if you're going to be doing stretch plays with gutter runners, they are much riskier now. The other thing to mention is that throwers have gone up plus 15k. So quite an expensive increase for them, but it's a great one because they are now pass 2+. So kind of what you're seeing is the throwers will now be making 1, 2, 3 square passes on a 2+, gutter runners on a 4+. So it should release your gutter runners. You should be able to create a reasonable stretch play with a thrower to a gutter runner now. I know that historically a lot of Skaven coaches have said, I just use a gutter runner as a thrower, as the ball carrier. But now throwers with sure hands are actually worth more than a gutter. It means you can use your gutters to do what they do and run. Animal savagery is another thing to mention. So the rat ogre got ever so slightly nerfed. Historically, it had wild animal, which meant that it had to roll a 2+ to block or blitz and a 4+ to move or stand up or do something that wasn't fighting, basically. Now that's slightly changed as well. The same rolls, so block or blitz 2+, and move, etc. 4+, but if you fail, it either loses its tackle zones, a la really stupid, or it punches a friendly player that's in base contact, knocks it to the ground and rolls for armor and uses Mighty Blow if it has it. So it then carries on its normal action. So 50-50 really. So you can put a line rat or something, generally speaking a journeyman, next door to your rat ogre and it will always do what you want it to do. It just might kill a rat to do so, which is incredibly Skaven. And to compensate for the gutter runners and the throwers going up in price, rerolls are now only 50k. So it kind of balanced out. So historically there were two rosters for Skaven basically, Rat Ogre and No Rat Ogre. So we'll start with the No Rat Ogre build. You don't get the Rogre, but you do get basically everything else. So you get 2 blitzers, 4 gutter runners, 1 thrower, 4 linemen, so that's a total of 11 players with 3 rerolls. The frustrating thing is with the thrower going up 15k and the gutter runners each going up 5k, it means that your roster is a little bit more expensive than it used to be. So you're hitting at 955, so you've only got 45k left. There are 2 things you can do here. One is not worry about it, save that 45k. That means that after the first game you can automatically buy that apothecary, which is what the team is missing. The other thing you can do is chuck all 40k into dedicated fans, which means that after every game you will get more and more cash. It's an interesting one. There's probably a sweet spot there somewhere, but that's I'm going to leave for you to figure out, to decide what you want to do. But this roster is the one I ran when I ran my first game of Blood Bowl 2020. I played against Wood Elves, I ran this roster, and we ended at a 2-all draw. Gutter runners are still fantastic. The stretch plays are going to struggle, having one gutter shuffle off to another gutter on a 2+. On a 4+ now, it used to be a 2+. It really can slow down those surprise stretch plays. So we each scored 1 offensive touchdown and 1 defensive touchdown. And let me tell you, it would have been more if we had the old school 2+ quick pass. But it just means that Skaven aren't going to have the massive blowouts without a lot more luck than they used to. And the same goes for Wood Elves, which I think all in all is probably a really good thing. Back on this team, the thrower was superb though. Having a 2+ quick pass was amazingly good. So it just makes your thrower essentially 3 squares faster than it used to be. I know throwing is bad, but 2+ with a reroll, it feels quite comfortable. It is a risk, but you should always be preparing to fail anyway in Blood Bowl. It is an unnecessary risk, but we've all been there where we've taken a single go for it for the handoff. This is like that, but you have sure feet. So if you think about it like that, a quick pass with the thrower is actually quite a solid option. You get your 3 rerolls, so you can reroll whatever you like. I'm a big fan of this roster. It does everything you want it to do, and when it comes to League, this is what I will be going for. Not sure what to do with the 45k yet. I would like an Apothecary, but I think you're going to score plenty of touchdowns, so dedicated fans might not be a bad place to start. Okay, so list number 2 is the Ogre build. You don't want to necessarily blow your opponent out with touchdowns. You'd rather do at least part of the job with murdering instead. So you are taking the Ogre. 2 blitzers for that sweet movement 7, strength 3 block. 2 gutter runners for your scoring potential. The thrower for ball maneuvering. That 2+ pass, that 3+ with a reroll pickup is actually really good. 5 linemen, 3 rerolls. So you get a bit of everything in this team. The only downside is that the Ogre is probably going to take out 1 or 2 of your linemen during the game. And you do not want to leave no players next door to him except a blitzer or a gutter runner. So getting guard on the Ogre as you go through the league is going to be more risky. Fortunately, as you'll know, if you're a Skaven player, your linemen are going to die anyway. So you're going to end up with journeymen. So what I can kind of see is for your first few games, if you run this roster, just having a journeyman follow the Ogre around, ready to get murdered, to be then replaced for free by another journeyman next turn. That's definitely going to be one thing to consider. However, the strength 5 frenzy of the Ogre is going to really put on some hurt, and those 2 blitzers are really consistent as well. So both of these rosters are very powerful. I think the 4 runner version is more winning full. Bad English there, sorry. It will win more, and it will win by bigger scores. But this will brawl. This will win you those 2 1s. This will win you those 3 2s, because let's not hide the fact that gutter runners are still brilliant, even when you've only got 2 of them. But there is a middle ground when it comes to the Apothecary Gutter split. So if you really want to start with that Apothecary and you're playing for the long to medium game, you don't want to risk that first game, triple gutter build is for you. 2 blitzers, 3 gutter runners, 1 thrower and 5 linemen. 3 rerolls as well. This takes you to 970, which gives you 30k left over, which you can then put towards your gutter or chuck into dedicated fans. Realistically, by game 2, you should be able to pick up the next gutter runner. So you're kind of struggling for a couple of games in order to make sure that by game 3 you've got some healthy gutter runners and a strong team. Or you can run the 4 gutter runner build and just risk them being murdered. It's entirely up to you, but this is not a bad one. So the advantage of starting with your positionals early is they get more chance to level up. So the more games they play, the more chance you're going to get that touchdown, that completion, that incidental casualty, the MVP, which is now completely random. That is, if your league isn't going to house rule that back to the D3 version. So any one of these rosters, what you're going to see is your players developing those SPPs. So having 4 gutter runners gives you an opportunity to level up 4. Having this build gives you the opportunity to level up 3 and to do it safely. So I guess this one might actually be better. Plus you've got an extra strength 3 player rather than a strength 2 player on defense. This one might technically be a better roster to start a league with. It will just feel a little bit less powerful for the first few games until you get that gutter runner. Talking of leveling up though, with the new SPP rules, 3 for a random is going to make the Ogre build quite juicy. So if it scores an MVP, it immediately can take a random strength skill. And if you have a look at the strength skills, they're all pretty good. But gutter runners, you're going to see less movement. Well, you can't take anything above movement 9 now, so there's going to be no movement 10 1-turners. So gutter runners got a little bit nerfed in that regard. They can still get sidestep, sprint, and sure feet, so don't worry, they're still going to be hooning through that towards it. But you will see less over-the-top gutter runners, which is why I think the throw is so integral, because you're going to need a little bit of a special way to make even more scoring happen. Does mean that their long-term defense is going to get worse, especially with the nerf to leap as well. So less Edge 5 gutters, less leap Dauntless, Wrestle Bombs. Gutter Runners just got fair. Skaven just got made a little bit more fair, but they are still going to be scoring 2, 3, 4 touchdowns a game, which means you're going to be able to farm that cash, which means by game 3, 4 of the season, you should have everything you want. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling about Skaven. Drop us a comment below. Anyway, that is enough about me rambling about Skaven. You guys will know I can do that for hours. I'm a big fan of all 3 of those lists. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of them. So let me know in the link below what you're planning on taking, if it's any of those, if there's another one I've missed, and just your thoughts on that. But more importantly, let me know what team you want us to do next. We've had loads of people ask for lots of teams, so the more you ask, the sooner we will do your team. But for now, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.